types of repositories we discussed, and what is a local object repository file, and how to create and how to save and how to view or edit the local repository file, and what are the benefits and disadvantages. So let me give a quick overview of last session. So QTP, what is a QTP test script? QTP test is nothing but a collection of actions. By default, every QTP test script contains one action 1. And what is QTP action? QTP action is a collection of steps, and it is a QTP component. There is one repository file and one data sheet will be associated with every action by default. And what is object repository? Object repository is a file where object descriptions and names will be stored. And object repositories are two types, local and shared object repositories. What is a local repository file? The repository file associated with an action, with every action by default, is called local repository file. We can view or edit the local repository objects in object repository tool. The local repository objects can be used only within the local action. It is one-to-one relation between QTP actions and local repository files. Action 1, that means if for example, if there are two actions in the QTP script, action 1 and action 2, action 1 will be having one local repository. With action 2, there is another repository, local repository will be available. So action 1 local repository objects cannot be used in action 2. Similarly, action 2 local repository objects cannot be used in action 1. Not only in action 1, in any other actions, it is not possible. How to create local repository file? The local repository file will be created automatically at the time of creating action. And how to save that local repository file? We no need to save that repository file, local repository file. It will be saved automatically at the time of saving the QTP script. And where this local repository file will be saved automatically? Inside action folder, the local repository file will be saved. And we can edit or view the local repository file inside by using object repository tool. And how to add objects to local repository file? We can add objects to local repository file by using 4 options. The first one is while recording. While recording, objects will be added by default in local repository file. And add object using object repository file, using object repository tool. By using object repository tool, we can add objects into local repository file one by one. And third option, by using active screen. What is active screen? Active screen is nothing but a snapshot of the current step in the QTP test. So by using that snapshot, application snapshot, it is possible to add objects into local repository file. And last, fourth option, we can add objects manually into local repository file by defining object name and object descriptions manually. And we can add objects to local repository file by using object repository tool. In object repository tool, we have one option. What is that option name? Define a new test object. Inside objects menu, we can see define new test object option. And using that option, we can define object name and object descriptions manually, and we can add object to local repository file. And these are all 4 different options that we can use to add objects to local repository file. And what are the benefits of local repository file? It is very easy to use local repositories for learners or beginners. The local repository file will be automatically created and automatically saved. So we no need to create and we no need to save that explicitly. These are the benefits of local repositories and disadvantages of local repositories. Local repository objects cannot be used in other actions, and duplicate objects will be created in local repositories. And multiple local repositories should be updated for even minor changes in the application UI. Even though if there are many very minor changes in the application UI, we may have to modify multiple local repository files. Yeah, what is your question, Shiva? In active screen, it will not capture the screenshot always, right? No. If you are recording the script, while recording, QTP will capture the snapshot for every step while recording. These snapshots will be displayed in the active screen. At the time of recording, QTP captures snapshots. So these snapshots will be displayed in the active screen. And similarly, at the time of running the script, QTP can capture the snapshots during the execution. And these
Okay.
snapshots will be displayed in the result file. Are you clear? In the active screen main
Yeah.
panel, what snapshots will be displayed? The snapshots which are captured during the recording. Only those snapshots will be displayed in the active screen. Are you clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Similarly,
Oh,
during the script execution also, QTP can capture snapshots. And these snapshots will be displayed in the result file, QTP result file. Okay. Okay. And now the main disadvantage of local repositories. The maintenance of local repositories is very difficult because of duplicate objects in the local repositories. That is the main challenge. So that is why we don't use local repositories in the real-time projects. Okay. And we discussed about object repository tool operations. What operations we can do in object repository tool. We can modify object name, and we can copy and paste objects, and we can cut and paste objects, and we can delete objects, and we can modify description properties values, and we can add property to description, or we can remove existing property from the description, and we can highlight actual object in the application for the selected test object. That means the test object can be highlighted in the application. And similarly, we can locate the test object in the repository file for any actual object in the application. And we can update object descriptions from the application. That means we can update the latest descriptions in the repository file by using this option 10. And these are all different operations that we can do in object repository tool. And next one, we discussed about shared object repository. What is a shared object repository file? The repository file which can be shared by multiple actions. The local repository file can be used by only one action maximum, but shared repository file can be used by multiple actions. And similarly, with any action, how many local repositories can be associated? Only one local repository can be associated maximum with any action, but we can associate multiple shared repositories with any action. Are you clear? And the relation between shared repositories and action is many to many. That means with one action we can add multiple repositories, and similarly one repository file can be added to multiple actions. So it is many to many relation. And how to create a shared repository file? We can create a shared repository file in object repository manager tool, not in object repository tool. Object repository manager tool. And the shared repository file should be saved explicitly. It will not be saved automatically like a local repository file. Okay. And how to add objects to shared repository file? Here we have three options that we can use to add objects to shared repository file. The first one is add object. In object repository manager, we can add objects. We can select add object option. By using add object option, we can add objects one by one to shared repository file. Or we can add object to shared repository file manually. That means by defining object name and object descriptions manually, we can add objects to shared repository file. By using, what is that option? In objects menu, manually define object name and description. That is called manual process. And export, by exporting local repository objects, we can export local repository file objects into shared repository file from object repository tool. From object repository tool, inside file menu, you can find this option, export local objects option. So by using that option, we can export local repository objects into shared repository file. So these are the three different options we can use to add objects into shared repository file. But generally, this is the option by default we use always. This is the default option always. Okay. And next one, how to associate shared repository files to actions. How we can associate that? We can associate shared repository file by selecting in the resources menu. You can choose associate repositories option, or there is one more option in object repository tool. In object repository tool, select tool associate repositories. In the tools menu, we can find the same option, associate repositories. So both are same. We can choose either this or that. So by using these options, we can associate shared repository files to actions. And benefits of a shared repository file. Shared repository file can be used in multiple actions. So no duplicate objects will be created here. Duplicate objects will be very less if you compare with the local repositories. So objects maintenance will be very easy by using shared repository files than local repositories. So that's why we always use shared repository files in the real-time projects, automation projects. And disadvantages. Disadvantages. Only the disadvantages is the association. The shared repository file should be associated to actions. Otherwise, that repository file cannot be used in the QTP script. Understand? Association is very important. So sometimes you will be missing this step, and directly you might be running the script and you will be getting the errors. So this is one small headache we have to take care of. If you want to use shared object repositories in your script, that shared repository file should be associated to actions. That should be taken care. Okay. And the next one, how to create a QTP test script using shared repository file that we have seen yesterday. The first step in any, see, this is the QTP script creation process. How to develop QTP test script for any test case. The first step, understand the test case flow and identify all objects and reusable steps in the test case. And second step, create shared repository file and add all required objects to repository one by one. And third step, associate that shared repository file to QTP action. And the fourth step, create a simple script by dragging and dropping the objects from repository to test panel. And next step, enhancement of the script. Enhancement means adding the comments, adding the descriptions, and modifying the methods, and adding the data in test data, and adding if conditions, adding loop statements, adding reporting statements, adding verifications script. Okay, adding the reporting steps. These are all so many things we have to do. Adding parameters. So there are so many things we have to do to the script. All these things comes under enhancement. And then finally do some dry run and make sure that the script is passed without any issues. So these are the steps involved in automation test script creation. Okay, all of you clear? You have any questions here in this topic in yesterday's session? So what is the next topic that today we are going to discuss is, yeah, let us see here. We completed object repositories. Now working with actions. Let us say that working with actions. How to work with actions? What are the different types of actions are available, and how to create actions and how to copy actions? That we'll see. After that we'll start with verifications. Checkpoints means verifications automation. How to automate verifications in QTP. That is a checkpoints. So let us start with actions today. Let me create a new document for actions. Yeah, actions. Working with actions. What is the action? Action definition. Action is nothing but, action is a collection of, steps. It is individual program. It is program. Individual program. Okay, and it is a QTP component. It is a QTP component program, and it is QTP component. Okay, now see how there are different types of actions in QTP. See, by default in every QTP script there would be one action, action 1, and we have different types of actions in QTP. Types of actions. Types of actions. See, the first one is, see, the actions are categorized into different types. The first one, the first type of categorization is based on the reusability. Actions are categorized into two types. Based on actions reusability, QTP actions are categorized into two types. The first one is called reusable action, and the second one is called non-reusable action. Non-reusable action. So reusable action and non-reusable action. What is a reusable action? Reusable action means, see, by default every action is reusable in QTP. By default every action is reusable. And reusable actions can be called from any action or script. We can call reusable actions anywhere. We can call reusable actions in other actions or in other scripts. It is possible. Can be called in other actions, like that I can say. In other actions, in any action or script. We can call reusable actions from any action or from any script. If the action is not a reusable action, that action cannot be called. That is the difference between reusable and non-reusable. So this action cannot be called if it is a non-reusable action. Cannot be called from any script, in any script, from any action or script. It is not possible to call non-reusable actions. So now let us see that. Before that, we should know how to create action. Is it right? Okay, that will see. This is one type of categorization based on the reusability of action. And there is another category. We can classify actions into two actions, two types again. What are those two types are parent action, parent action and child action. There are two types of actions based on that action position in the QTP script. We can categorize actions into two types, parent action and child action. Parent action means it has one child, that should have at least one child, then we can say that action is a parent action. Child action means it is a child of another action. That means this child action should have at least one parent, then it is called child action. That I will say that one, how to create these parent and child actions. So this is another type of categorization. And we have one more type of categorization, internal internal action and external action. Internal action and external action. Parent action means what description we can say? Parent means it has at least one child, at least one child, then we can say that is a parent. When we can say it is a child, it has at least one parent, one, only there should be one parent, right? It just should be, it has a parent action or action created in another action. Like that I can say definition. Child action is nothing but action created in another action. That is called child action. Action created in another action, inside another action, then it is a child action. Understand? What is the internal action? Internal action means an action created in the current script, in the current script. So all actions whatever we have created in the current script, those actions are internal actions to that particular script. External action means an action created in other script but called in the current script, in the current script. An action called in the current script but created in some other script. Are you clear? An action which is called, an action an action which is called in the current script but created in some other script, not in the current script. Are you clear? Created in other script, not in the current script, not in the current script. Understand this? What is the external action? Okay, so external action means an action which is called in the current script but created in some other script, not in the current script. That is called external action. Internal action means an action created in the current script itself. In the current script itself. That is called internal action. Yeah, 1 second, guys. Okay. So are you clear? Chari here and Subbarao, these two different types of actions. First one is reusable action. Reusable action means an action that can be reused, that can be called in other actions from any other actions or from any other script. Non-reusable means an action that cannot be called from any other action or from any other script. This is one type of categorization. Second type of categorization is depends upon the position, parent action and child action. Parent action means if it has at least one child action, then it is called parent. What is a child action? An action created in another action is called child action. And similarly, we can categorize actions into another two types, internal and external action. Internal action means an action created in the current script itself. External action means an action which is called in the current script but created in other script, not in the current script. That is called external action. Now let us see how to create actions one by one, all these types of actions. Creating action, create action. See how to create action in QTP.
Professor?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Subbarao, this is Subbarao.
Tell me.
Can can we wait for some time? I think since Kumar is logged off, or we can continue.
Uh,
I think power issue is
yeah, he
telling me.
said that. He said that power issue. Oh,
When we come
let,
back again, you need to repeat, right? Instead of that, can we
no,
wait for
no,
some time? Not
no,
at
no,
all. Okay, okay.
no, not a problem. Let us continue. I think so. We can watch the video and then we can.
Oh, okay. Good, good.
Yeah. Okay. How to create action? Let us see that. See, to create an action, what we have to do? Go to insert menu and select call to new action option. That is the option we should select. Select call to in insert menu, call to new action. This is the option we should select. After that, it opens this dialog box. This dialog box is open. Why it's not copying? Okay, just let me take this snapshot. This dialog box will be open. Okay, so in this dialog box, you can enter the name. We can change the name if you want. So what we have to do here, enter name, enter action name. Next, what we have to do, see there is a checkbox here, enter description. We have to enter action description. It is not mandatory. Action description can be entered and it is optional, not mandatory. And as next step, there is a checkbox, reusable action. By default, that is selected. So reusable checkbox is there here. Reusable checkbox. It is by default selected. It is by default selected. That means by default every action is reusable. If you unselect this checkbox, then that action becomes non-reusable. If you unselect this checkbox, are you clear? So if I select unselect this, now this action will be created as non-reusable action. So don't unselect this. So by default it is selected. So let it be selected. And after that, location. Select the location, action location. The next step we have to do, select location. Location means location where this action should be created. Should be created in the script. In the script. So there are two options are available. The first option is at the end of the test. At the end of the test. If you select this option, action will be created. Action will be created at the end of all actions in the test. In the test script. As a top level action. As top level action. As top level action. Top level action means topmost action in the script. Okay. And second option, after the current step. If you select this option, action will be created inside the current action. Inside the current action as a child action. As a child action. Are you clear? So whenever I create here, if I choose this first option, I'm selecting now here first radio option and click OK button. Now see, action 2 is created at the end of all actions. So action 2 will be last action. Will be created as a last action in the test. That like that I can say created as last action in the test script. Okay. So now action 2 is created at the last. Now I'm creating one more action. So now currently which action is opened here? Action T is opened here. And cursor is here in the first line. Cursor is at the first line. Now I'm choosing here again call to new action. And this time I select second radio option after the current step. If you select this after the current step option, where this action 3 will be inserted, created inside the current action. Which is the current action opened in QTP? Action 2 is the current action currently opened. So inside this action 2, this action 3 will be created as a child action. If you select the second option. Now see that. See, action 3 is created inside action 2 as a child action. Are you clear? Now inside action 3, there is no steps. It is empty. Now go to parent action, action 2. Now see that action 2. See, there is one statement generated in action 2 for this child action. That means whenever you create a new child action inside another action, for that child action, this statement will be generated in the parent action, inside parent action. For every child action, this statement will be generated inside the parent action. See, action 2 is a parent action, and inside this parent action there is a statement generated for child action, action 3. See, what is a statement? run action, action 3, one iteration. So the run action is nothing but it is a calling statement. It is a calling statement for action 3. That means action 2 will run action 3 by using this statement. Action 2 will run action 3 by running this statement. So this run action statement is nothing but it is a calling statement for child action. Understand? So here one important note, whenever you create a child action, whenever we create a child action, child action, run action statement will be generated. Run action statement will be generated in the parent action, generated for the child action in parent action. Are you clear? Whenever we create a child action, run action statement will be generated for the child action inside parent action. So that is what this one. For every child action, definitely there is a run action generated in QTP parent action. Are you clear? This is called parent action and child actions. Now see that all these actions, action 1, action 2, action 3, all these actions are reusable. See, look at that. In every action, there is some blue color arrow marks. This symbol denotes reusability. If this blue color arrow marks are there, that means that action is reusable. We can call this action from other actions or from other script. It is possible. And one more thing, these are all, see that, reusable actions. And these are all actions are internal actions. Why internal actions? All these actions are created in the same script, in the current script itself. Understand? In the same script itself, these actions are created. See, for example, in action 1, I'm writing one simple statement, print. It is action 1 in test 1. Okay, I'm writing this statement, simple statement. I'm printing this message in the print dialog, in the print window. In action 2, I'm writing again same statement before the run action statement. It is action 2 in test 1. And similarly, in action 3, I'm writing same statement. It is action 3 in test 1. Now I'm saving this script as a test 1. I'm saving this script with name test 1. I saved it. See, it is saved as a test 1. Now in this test 1 script, there are 3 actions. And in each action, there is one statement to have written. Now if I run the script, see that, if I run the script, it displays 3 messages in the print window. See, 3 messages are printed. Action 1 in test 1, action 2 in test 1, action 3 in test 1. Are you clear? Now, all these actions are internal actions because all these 3 actions are created in the same script. Are you clear? Now, what is the external action? What is the external action? See, we have seen what is a reusable, what is a non-reusable, parent action, child action, and internal action. Now we are going to see external action. What is external action? How to create external action? To create external action, I'm opening a new script. See here, I'm saving this script. I'm going to save this script as a test2. I'm saving this script as a test2. I saved it. In this test2, again there is action 1. And here I'm printing statement, same thing. Action 1 in test2. It is action 1 in test2. Now, I will be calling action 2 from test 1 script. Reusable actions can be called from other scripts or from other actions. It is possible. Now, I want to call action 2 from test 1 script inside this test 2. In this test2, I want to call action2 from test1 script. See that how to call actions, calling actions. That is a point I'm going to show you here. Call an existing action, an existing action. Call an existing action. How to call an existing action? Now see that, go to insert and select this option, call to existing action option in the insert menu. Select that. Now select the script, from which script you want to call action. I want to call an action from test1 script. So click this button and select that, open that test1 script. It is test1 script. Open that. See now all the actions inside this test1. How many actions we created inside this test1? We created 3 actions. So those 3 actions are displayed here. See, all actions are reusable. That's why all 3 are displayed. Suppose if I make any action 3 as a non-reusable, let us see that. Now I'm saving it again. I'm opening test1 script now. I'm opening test1 script. In this test1 script, I will make action 3 as a non-reusable action. I will convert this action 3 as non-reusable action. Open action 3, right click on action properties, unselect this checkbox. Or it cannot be unselected because it is a child action. That's why it cannot be unselected. Okay. I will make action 1 as a non-reusable inside test 1. Right click action properties. So now this checkbox is enabled. I unselect this checkbox. Now action 1, see, look at that, there is no blue color arrow marks now here. That means this action 1 is not reusable action anymore. That means this action 1 cannot be called in other actions or in other scripts. It is not possible because it is not a reusable action now. But action 2 is a reusable action. Action 3 also reusable action. Understand? Now I'm saving the script. Now open test2. Now I want to call action 2 or action 3 from test1 script. Again go to same option, call to existing action inside insert menu and select the script test1. Yes, now look at that, action 1 is not listed here. Why action 1 is not listed here? Action 1 is not a reusable action inside test1 script. Action 1 is not a reusable. That's why we cannot call that action. That's why that is not displaying in this list. Only action 2 and action 3 are reusable actions in test1 script. So we can call only these 2 actions, but not action 1. That is the reason that action 1 is not listed now in this list. Now I'm calling now action 3, or I'm going to call here action 2. I'm going to call this action 2 inside test2 after action 1. So I select here first option at the end of the test. That means after action 1, I'm calling this action 2. Look at that, how it is inserted here. It is inserted. See, inside this action 2 there is a child action, action 3, that also called automatically. See, I called only action 2. This action 2 contains one child action in the test1 script. See that it displays very clearly action 2 from test 1, action 2 from test 1. So this action 2, where it is created? This action 2 is created inside test1 script. And here we are calling that action 2 just. We have not created action 2 here. We are calling that action 2 from test1 script in this test2 script. Understand? So this action 2 is called external action. This action 2 is called external action because this action 2 is called in the current script but created in some other script test1, not created inside test2. This action 2 is not created inside the test2. This action 2 is created inside test1 script, but we are calling that action 2 here. So that's why this action 2 is action 2 and action 3. Both actions are called external actions. Look at that here in this drop down. Under external actions, it displays action 2 and action 3. Are you clear? But action 1 is not a external action, because this action 1 is created inside test2 script. So this action 1 is internal action for this test2, but action 2 and action 3 are not internal actions. These actions are called external actions, because these two actions are not created inside test2. These two actions are created inside test1, and we are calling here. Just simply we are calling here. Understand? This is called external action. And one more important point about external actions: these external actions cannot be modified. We cannot modify external actions. Not at all possible. Yeah, hi Shiva. Okay, we cannot call, we cannot modify external actions at all. See that it is action 2 is external action here. If I try to make any changes, see I'm typing something, but it is not typing anything inside this action 2. This action 2, not only action 2, action 3 also will be read only mode, because these two actions are external actions. That's why these two actions are in read only mode. That means external actions cannot be modified. External actions always in read only mode. Are you clear? That is called call an existing action. What we are doing in insert menu, select this option, to call to an existing action. This is the option we should select to insert, to call any existing action. See, that's what we have done. First I created a test1 script. This is test1 script I created. In test1 we created three actions: action 1, action 2, action 3. Action 1 is a topmost action, top level action, and action 2 is a parent action. Action 1 is not a parent action, it is individual action. Action 1 is called here individual action because it doesn't have any child, but action 2 has one child action, so action 2 is a parent action. And action 3 is child action because this action 3 is created inside action 2. So that's why action 3 is called here child action, and action 2 is called here parent action. And one more point we have to understand: this action 2 is reusable action. See that blue color arrow marks are there. And similarly action 3 also reusable action, but action 1 is not reusable action. There is no blue color marks. How we changed this action 1 as a non-reusable action? Right click on action, go to action properties, and here I unselected this checkbox, reusable action checkbox. If you select this checkbox, that action becomes reusable action. Again, if I go on to action properties, and if you unselect this checkbox, that action becomes non-reusable action. Are you clear? That is what we have done in test1 script. And after that I have added one step in all the actions. In action 1 I'm have written print action 1 in test1 script. Action 2 I'm printing this message, and also we are calling here action 3, and inside action 3 we are printing this message, and we are saving this test1. And after that what I have done, I have created one more script, test2. In this test2 there is action 1. In action 1 I'm printing this message, action 1 in test2. After that I called this action 2 from test1 script here. How will we call this action 2? Go to insert menu, call to existing action, then select test1 script, open the test1 script, then it displays all the actions, all reusable actions here. Inside this test1 there are two reusable actions, action 2 and action 3. So those actions are listed here. So now you can select which action you want to call here and click OK. That's it. That action is called here. So this action 2, we are calling this action 2 from test1 script inside test2. Inside test2, we are calling this action 2 from test1. That means this action 2 is created inside test1 script, but not in test2 script. But not in this action 2 is not created in the current script test2. Understand? Where this action 2 is created inside test1 script, and we are calling that action 2 here simply. So this action 2 is called external action. So external actions cannot be modified or read only mode. Now if I run this script, see, look at that, it displays messages. See that action 1, what messages are displayed? Action 1 in test 2, and action 2 in test 1, action 3 in test 1. This is the internal action. This is the internal action, action 1. See that this is a message printed. After that we are running action 2. Inside this action 2 we have this message, action 2 in test 1. So that is printed. And after that it is calling action 3. So inside action 3 there is one more message, action 3 in test 1. So that message also displayed. Understand? And all these external actions cannot be modified. Read only mode. That is important. Okay. So one important point here we should have to know. External actions are read only mode, or are read only, cannot be modified. It cannot be modified in the calling test. In the calling test script we cannot make any changes to external actions. Where we can modify external actions? Only if you want to make any changes to this action 2, here we cannot do. Where we can modify this action 2? Only inside test1 script. We have to open the test1 script and then make any changes, whatever you want, and save it. Then automatically those changes will be reflected in test2 as well. Are you clear? Okay. So this is about actions, working with actions. And we have seen call to an existing action. Call to an existing action means what it will do? Just it calls an existing action, and it won't create a new action. Call to existing action means it calls an existing action and it won't create any new action. Understand? It will not create a new action. Just it will make a link to existing action. It will call existing action. That's it. It won't create any new actions. Now similarly, there is one more. Copy an existing action. Copy an existing action into new action. How to copy an existing action into new action? Let us say this one. Now look at that. Okay, I will remove this. Let it be there, fine, no problem. Now let us try to copy. I am going to select here copy to call to copy of action. Call to copy of action. Select that one. Now for example, I want to copy one action 1 from test1 script into this test2. Go to test1, open test1 script. See, now look at that here. Now it displays all the actions including action 1. Action 1 is a non-reusable action, but still it is displayed. That means we can copy any action. It can be reusable or non-reusable. We can copy any action, but we cannot call non-reusable actions. Only we can call reusable actions. That is the difference between call and copy. See, now I want to copy action 1 from this test1 into new action in this test2. Click OK. See, look at that. It creates a new action, copy of action 1. See this message, print action 1 in test1. This is the code we have written inside action 1 of test1 script. So that action is copied into this action in the test2 script. And now this copy of action 1 is a new action created in the test2 script by copying an existing action from test1 script. After copying this action, we can make changes to this action because it is just a new action. So I can add here, I can make changes here. It is action 4 from test2. See, I'm making changes. I'm changing this test2. Now I can also modify action name as well. Now the action name is displayed as a copy of action 1, but I want to change that action name. Right click on action properties and rename it. That action name is action 4. Action 4. It is a reusable action, not non-reusable action. I want to make it as a reusable action. So I selected checkbox. Click OK. Done. Now look at that. That action name is modified to action 4, and now that action is become reusable action. And I modified that action code as well. So like this, we can copy any action from either from the current script or from other scripts. We can copy an existing action into a new action. How to copy that? Select here insert menu, copy to call to copy of an existing action. Call to copy of an existing action. This is the option we should select. See, we can call any action. Any action can be called from either the current script or any other script. From any other script, we can copy new action into a new action. That is important. We are creating here a new action by copying an existing action. Understand? But here, while calling an existing action, we are not creating a new action. Understand? Here, new action will not be created. It won't create a new action here. But when you are copying, what happens? It is creating a new action by copying an existing action. So while copying, what will be copied? That action code will be copied, and also repositories. The local repository objects also will be copied automatically into the new action. Are you clear? So what will be copied? Both code and repositories and local repository objects. Repository objects will be copied into new action by using this option. And this action, the calling action, cannot be called here, cannot be modified. The calling action is created in the same script, then it is internal action. It is internal action, and it can be modified, if the calling action is created in other script, not in the current script, then it is called external action, and it cannot be modified. Are you clear the difference between call to an existing action and copy an existing action? Okay, save it then. And now one more thing is there in actions that we have to do: splitting action. We can split action. One action can be splitted into two actions by using this option, split action. We can split one action into two actions. Let us see that. For example, if I take this action 1, or if I take this action 4, I will write here one more statement. Two statements I'm writing, or copying one more. Okay, 4 lines of code I have written inside this action 4. Just give something. Okay, now I want to split this action into two actions. I can split it. First 2 lines into one action, and the next 2 lines into another action. Like that, it is possible to split one action into two actions. That is called splitting action. Let us see how to do that one. So now you just place the cursor where you want to split the action. I want to split the action from this line number 3. So I place the cursor in line number 3. After that, right click, go to action, split. Select here, split option. Yes, see that. It displays split action window. Let me take the snapshot of this. So split action, where you can select this option, right click on action and select action, split action, split option. Then this window will be displayed. So in this window, you can choose either how you want to split these two actions, as independent actions or nested actions. Nested actions means, see, like this, these actions will be created. Independent actions means both are two individual actions. Like this, it will be created. And then you can define the action names. See, my first action name is action 4, and next action is action 5. Action 5. Like this, I want to split. These are the two new actions I'm going to create from this action. Now click OK. See, look at that here. In action 4, only how it is copied from third statement. Third line only I selected, right? Why only one line is copied here? Okay, maybe, see, look at that. Maybe the cursor might be wrongly placed, pointed. That's why it is split like this. Wherever you have placed the cursor, from that line, it should split that action. See, 3 statements are coming into action 5, and only one statement left in action 4. So like that, that action is splitted into two actions now. So like that, we can use this option very rarely. We don't use it. And one more important point, right, in the real-time projects point of view, we don't use actions in the real-time projects. We will use actions. For what purpose we use actions? To execute. Only at the time of integration. That means, then if you don't use actions, then where we write the script? Generally, we used to write the script in library functions, not in QTP actions. We don't write the script in QTP actions directly. We always prefer to write the script inside library functions, and those library functions will be called in QTP action as per the flow. That means you will be integrating library functions in the QTP action to execute. That's it. So we don't use very much actions. We don't work uh, very much with actions in the real-time projects. That's what I would like to say. Mostly we should be always creating the script always as library functions, not as qtp actions. But we should know how to work with qtp actions, because that is a basic component of qtp. So we should know how many types of actions are there, and how to create action, and how to create nested actions, and how to create a parent action, how to create reusable and non-reusable, and how to call other actions in the script. So these things we should know. That's why we have discussed, I have shown this all these concepts. But actually in the real-time projects we don't use actions much. In the real-time projects we always use library functions. Okay guys, are you clear? So actions can be split into individual actions or nested actions. Nested actions. Nested actions means parent and child. Okay. Can be split into, not splitted, split into. Nested means parent and child. Okay. Parent and child. That is called nested actions. So like this we can split one action. Action can be split into either individual actions or nested actions. Two individual actions or two nested actions. Working with actions. Okay. So any doubts guys in actions, working with actions? You have any doubts in this topic, actions topic, how to work with actions? It is very simple topic. Okay, simple thing. Only different types of actions. So how many types you should know? Reusable, non-reusable, parent, child, internal, external actions. And still we can say a few more types. What is that? Individual action. Individual action means parent action. Okay, individual action. That also one more type we can say. Internal action. Or inside that I can say one more type as individual action. Individual action. That means that that is not a parent or child. That is not a. It is not a parent or child action. That is called individual action. Generally, it should be at the topmost level. Generally, it would be top level action. Top level action. Individual actions should be generally at the top level, topmost level in the script. Topmost level means this one. See, this is action 3 is the second level. Action 1, action 2, action 4, action 5 are top level actions. Okay. So you have any questions in this topic, actions? Hello? Hello, are you following me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, Prasad. Yes, Prasad.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, please ask me some questions. Okay. Really, I feel, uh, what is that? I only keep on talking, okay, in our sessions always. So you please ask me some questions, some questions in the sessions. At least in the previous sessions or at anything you can ask me, okay. So that will make more, what is that? Mm, effective our sessions. Otherwise, right, it will be like one side talking, keep talking. No, I feel that you are also right, enthusiastically, what is that, following me. Otherwise I cannot understand that whether you are following me or not if you don't ask me anything. If you ask me something only, then I can feel that yes, you are following me, and right, I also will really, our session will be more effective. Yeah, yes, Chari, tell me what is the. See, you can ping me that. If you have any question, also just ping me that. I will explain to everybody what is that query that you have asked. Call to copy of option. Yes, yes, Chari. Call to copy of action. It will be two separate object repositories, right? Copy to copy of action. See that. I will show you that one second. Just let us try to understand. For example, go to first script, test one script here. Okay, I am opening test one script, first script. In the test one script, we have action one. Here three actions are there in the test one script. So in action one script, now at present there is no repository here, correct? Go to resources, object repository. Look at that here. It will be empty because we have not added any object in action one repository, local repository, or we have not associated any shared repository also to this action one. Now what I will do, I will associate repository to this action one. We can associate from here. Go to the tools and associate repositories, and I will associate one repository file to this action one. Flight.tsr is associated. Move this action one to right side. See, I am associating this repository to action one, not with all actions. In this script, there are three actions. So I am associating this repository file with action one. Done. See, now objects are displayed here. What objects? These objects? These objects are shared repository objects, not local repository objects. That's why these objects are displayed in disable mode. Are you clear? Now save the script. Now if I copy this action one into another script, now let us see what will be copied. Code should be copied, and also repository objects also should be copied, correct? Now let us see that is it copying or not. I'm going to new script test2, and here I'm going to copy action 1 from test1 script. Go to insert, call to copy of action, and select the test1 script. Open that test1 and select here action 1 and copy this after the current step, not after the current step, at the end of the test. That means action 6 here it will be created. Now see that copy of action 1 is created and code is copied. Now is it repositories are copied or not? Let us see that. Open repository, object repository, for copy of action. Select this one. See that, look at that. Objects are copied from shared repository. Look at that here. Flight.tsr is associated automatically. Because the action 1 which we copied from test 1, so with that action 1, this repository was already associated. So when you copy that action into a new action, what will happen? Automatically it copies code as well, all object repositories, all objects, whatever the objects are associated, repositories are associated with that action will be copied into this new action automatically. Yeah, what is Chari question is now one more question. Now we copied action 1 from test1 script into test2 script. We copied. After copying this, if I make any changes in action 1 of test1 script, those changes will be reflected in the new action in the test2. If you copy action 1 from test1 into test2, after copying that, if you make any changes in the test1 action 1 script, those changes will be reflected here? Not at all. Why will not be reflected? Look at that here. And here we explain, right? See, call to existing action. What is happening? When you call existing action, it won't create a new action. What will happen? Simply it will call existing action. Understand? And that existing action cannot be modified in the calling test. Okay, now if you make any changes, see now if you make any changes in the called action in its parent action, in its parent, not parent, in its native test, native test, then those changes will be reflected automatically, reflected automatically in the calling test. Are you clear? Because we are calling an existing action here. So when we are using this option, call to an existing action option, what's happening? It is not creating a new action. It is just calling an existing action. Understand? So in this scenario, if you make any changes in the called action in the native test script, those changes will be automatically reflected in the calling test. But when you are using copy of an existing action, what's happening? We are creating a new action. A new action will be created, and into this new action, that old action will be copied. Correct? Code will be copied and repositories will be copied automatically into the new action from some other action. So in this scenario, if you make any changes in the original action, so if you make any changes in the original action means from where it is copied. Okay, original action, those changes cannot be reflected in the copied action. Are you clear? Chari, got it now? Yeah, good. So any other questions in actions? Any other queries in actions? See, in interview point of view, these points are important, okay, but not in the real-time projects, because in real-time projects we don't use this concept very much. But in interview point of view, these points are very important and very useful. How many types of actions are there? Yes, Chari, tell me what is the question? Yeah, yes, we can copy the action from the same script. It is possible. Not only copying, we can call action also. Yeah, example action one. Let us take. Okay. Hmm. It has shared up repository. Then it will copy automatically. That shared repository objects also will be copied into new action. Let us see that. See, let me take this one. For example, in action one. Okay. In action one, I will associate a shared repository file. Go to associate repositories, and here associate this action one also with this repository. I associated action one also to this repository. Done. Now, if I copy this action one in the same script, that is what Chari is asking. Now go to insert, select copy of action from the current test. From where you want to copy? I want to copy from the current test. Which action you want to copy? Action one. Select that one. And where you want to copy this? At the end, I want to copy. So select the first option. I want to copy this action one at the end of the test. Then Yes. See, copy 2 of action 1 is copied. Now, if you go to this action 1, see that code is copied from here, same code. And similarly, object repository also will be copied. Go to repository. See, copy 2 of action 1. See, all these objects are copied. And similarly, if you go to action 1, same objects are there. In copy 2 of action 1 also, same objects are there. Are you clear? So, whenever you copy any action into a new action, it will copy code plus repositories. All repositories, whichever associated to that action, all repositories will be copied automatically into the new action. Are you clear? All of you clear? All of you got it? Yeah. No, no, Chari. Still see what Chari question is. After copying, now see for example, take this one. We copied this action from action 1, correct? Now inside action 1, I'm opening repository file. To this action 1, if I add one more new object, see now I'm adding one more new object here. I'm opening login dialog box and I'm adding here one object, help object I'm adding. See, I have added help object. See, look at that, help is added. Where help is added? Action 1 local repository file, it is added. That's why it is in enable mode. Look at that. And all other objects are okay. See where you can update that repository, where you can update that object. Suppose if you want to update this OK button, where you can update? Yes, we have to open this repository file in object repository manager, and then you have to make a change, right? Then if you make a change, let us do that one. I will do that one. Go to resources, open object repository manager, and open that repository file, flight.tsr. Yes, exactly right. You are right. So it should automatically update in all the actions. In all the actions wherever this repository file is associated. If I open this, and now if I make one small change, see for example, I will remove this dlg underscore. I am removing here. Just simply log in. I modified the dialog box name. Now close this. Now go and check in action 1 repository. Action 1 repository, look at that here, login. Similarly, go and check in copy 2 of action 1. See login. See, it is automatically updated in all the actions wherever that repository is associated. Because that is a shared repository. Understand? Suppose if you make any changes in the local repository object of action 1, if I make a change in action 1 local repository, see this is a local repository object. Understand? Help. If I make here any changes, these changes will be reflected in copy of action 2? Not at all. If I make any changes in the action 1 local repository, those changes cannot be reflected in copy 2 of action 1 local repository. Understand? Because action 1 local repository is different and copy 2 of action 1 local repository is different. But these login dialog box objects are from flight.tsr shared repository file. That shared repository file is common for both the actions. Understand the point here? All of you clear? Any doubts? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Let us take some 10 minutes break. Okay. And then we'll continue. The next important topic will start. That is verifications. How to automate different types of verifications, and how to use checkpoints, how to create different types of checkpoints, and how to automate verifications without using checkpoints. All those stuff we will see that here. Okay. Okay, guys, just let us take some 10 minutes break. I will be back by 4:50. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. So the next topic is verifications. Verifications. How to automate verifications using QTP. Verifications. See, we have different types of verifications, right? In test cases, we may have to execute different types of verifications in test cases. Example, see for example, simple type different types of validations. What are the different types of validations we will be executing, running in the test cases? If any object or window or page is displayed or not, is it right? This is one common validation will be generally will be running. Whether any object or field or window or page is displayed or not, we may have to verify sometimes. And similarly, sometimes we have to verify default values of different fields in the application. Like that means text box default value, text box value, verify text box value. Hmm? Verify text box value. And the next one, verify drop down list. For example, drop down list selected value. What value is selected in the drop down list? And verify drop down list values. What values are displayed in the drop down box? And verify checkbox value. Is it selected or unselected? What is the value? Is selected or not selected? Okay. And verify radio option. Verify radio button is selected or not. Is selected or not. Understand these are some examples I just am giving here. And next, verify any object, any field or object is enabled or disabled in the application. Hmm? We can check that one. And similarly, verify error message. Okay, so is there any other different types of validations that we have to verify? Suppose we have to verify such results table. Sometimes table content, table values we have to verify sometimes. Verify table number of rows, table row count. Okay, or table value, or and verify some text. Verify text is displayed in table column. So these kind of verifications will be running, executing in the test cases. Correct. See how we will automate all these different types of validations in QTP or UFT. Okay, now let us say that first one, simple one. What is that? How to automate whether any field or a object is displayed or not. So we will take our example. Last session we created one script, sample script, valid login script. I'm opening that script, valid login script. Yesterday we created. See here in the script, what steps we have automated. Here what steps we have automated. First step, launching the application, and second step we have to verify that whether login dialog is displayed or not. So this verification is this one, similar to the first verification. That is nothing but the first verification. Object or window or dialog is displayed or not. So same validation here we have to do. How we will automate this validation? Let me save this. Oh, it is all saved in documents only. Okay. See, let us see that how to automate this first one. See how we can automate this. Very simple. We want to verify that login dialog is displayed here. Correct. So first get that login dialog box object. This is the login dialog box object. Write it here. And to check that whether this dialog box is displayed or not only dialog box. Suppose if you want to verify whether this agent name text box is displayed or not inside the dialog box, or I want to verify password text box is displayed or not inside this dialog box, or if you want to verify OK button is displayed or not inside the dialog box. For any kind of object is displayed or not displayed validation, the same method we'll be using. So dialog dot exist is the method. Exist is the method. Suppose I want to give some 10 seconds is the waiting time. So what is this exist method? The exist method checks that whether this object is displayed or not. In case if this object is displayed, then this method returns true value. In case if this object is not displayed, then it will wait for 10 seconds. Suppose within this 10 seconds, if that object still not displayed, then it returns false value. Suppose if that object is displayed in 5 seconds, then immediately this exist method returns true value and it will come out of this waiting state. Understand how exist method executes? The exist is the method we'll be using to verify any object is displayed or not. Exist is the method. Exist method is used to verify any object existence. Any object existence. So what this method returns? It returns what is the syntax of this method? The syntax of this method is exist, and here you have to give number of seconds. Number of seconds. That is the input. What is that seconds? The seconds is maximum waiting time. The seconds is nothing but it is a maximum waiting time. It is a timeout value, maximum timeout value, waiting timeout value, timeout in seconds. In seconds. Are you clear? That is the input for that we have to pass. And this method, what is the value it returns? Returns what value it returns? See what is the input? This is the input, okay? What is the input for this? That is the input. And what is the return value? Return value. The return value for this method is true or false. True or false. When it returns true value, if object is displayed within the stipulated time, within the maximum waiting time, maximum timeout. False when it returns if object is not displayed within the maximum timeout. Are you clear? So that is our exist method. Now let us see that. Now this exist method returns true value if this dialog box is displayed. Only then we should run these 3 steps. In case if this dialog box is not displayed in 10 seconds, that means the login dialog box is not displayed. So we cannot execute these 3 steps. And we have to report failed status saying that dialog box is not displayed and the script is failed. So we should write this statement inside if condition. We should write this statement inside if condition, if, and then that means this statement, if this statement returns true value, then automatically this entire if condition will become true. If this exist method returns false value, then automatically the if condition becomes false. So if this if condition is true, only then these steps should be executed. All these steps should be executed. Else, if that if condition is not true, then we have to run this else part, end if, end if. So inside this else, we should have to report failed status. If the control come to this else part, what does that means? This if condition is false. What does that means? The exist method is false. What does that means? The login dialog box is not displayed. That is a failure of this script. So we have to report that failed message, failed status in the result file. See, it is a verification. Understand? This is a verification step that we have to automate. So it is very important for every verification we should have to report either pass or failed status in the result file. Every verification should be failed or should be passed. That should be reported. That status should be reported. Verification status should be reported in the result file. Understand? So by using how we report a message, how do we report the status or messages in the result file? Here I will be writing one new statement. A reporter is QTP object. Reporter is QTP built-in object. By using this reporter object, we can report. Yeah, okay, Shiva. Just we started. Okay, just I'm discussing about verifications. Just I started first verification type, that is whether any object or field or dialog box or window or page is displayed or not. So these are all different types of validations that will be running in any test case. Now we are seeing first validation, first type of validation, whether any object is displayed or not. If you want to verify this, then how do we automate? Now we have taken our yesterday's script. In yesterday's script, what we have automated? Just launching the application, and then we have to verify login dialog box is displayed or not. So here, how do we automate this? Whether login dialog box is displayed or not. To verify whether any object is displayed or not, the method what we'll be using is exist method. Exist is the method we'll be using to verify any object is displayed or not. This exist method returns true value if that object is displayed within 10 seconds of time. This exist method returns false value if this object is not displayed within 10 seconds of time. Then if this exist method returns true value, then automatically the if condition becomes true. And if exist method returns false value, then automatically the if condition becomes false. Then if this if condition is true, then only I want to execute these steps. In case if this if condition is false, that means dialog box is not displayed, then control will come to else part. So in the else part, I want to report the failed status. So it is very important for every verification, we should have to report the verification status, either pass or failed. See, both should be reported, either pass or fail, whatever it is, that verification status should be reported in the result file. It is very important. So if the control comes inside the if condition, inside this if condition, what is that means? The dialog box is displayed. So I want to report that. And if else part is coming, if control is coming to this else part, what does that means? Login dialog box is not displayed. It is a failed status. So these both the cases should be reported by using a reporter object. How do we report status or any step status or any user messages in the QTP result file? By using a reporter statement. That is a statement I am writing now. Reporter dot report event is the method we'll be using to report the step in QTP result file. For this method, the first argument is status, the step status. The step status should be either any one of the value. MIC done, MIC fail, MIC pass, or MIC warning. Now in else part, what is the status now? It is failed status. So we should select here MIC fail. MIC fail. It is a QTP constant, MIC fail. That means it represents fail status, comma, and then what is the step we are checking? Login, verified login dialog box should be displayed. That is a step we are running here. Verify login dialog is displayed. That is verification. And what is the result we got? Login dialog box is not displayed. Dialog is not displayed. That is a result, actual result we got. Now similarly, copy this statement and paste it inside if condition. For pass status, if the control come to this statement inside if condition, what is that means? Dialog box is displayed, so we have to make it pass. MSC pass, and verified login is dialog is displayed, and here it is displayed, not displayed here. Login dialog box is displayed and it is pass. Understand clear now how we are automating object existence validation? And similarly, here also there is one more validation. What is this validation? Flight application is opened or not. We have to check. How do you check that flight reservation application is opened or not? Save that. Now let me run this script. See that script is passed. See that this is the report error message, report message we have written report.report event. That statement reports this message in the result file. Verify login dialog is displayed. Login dialog box is displayed and status is passed. Understand? By using this report.report, this statement is executed. That's why these two messages are displayed with the status as pass. Now here let me now automate this validation. What is validation? Verify flight application is opened or not. That means this window we have to check is displayed or not. So what we should do? First we should have to add this window object to repository file. So first add that one. Open shared repository file. Flight.tsr. See sometimes right while opening the repository file, see at the time of opening the repository file, there is a checkbox. Open this file in read-only mode. You should have to unselect this. Suppose if you don't unselect this checkbox and if you click open, see that objects are in disable mode. That means that file is open in read-only mode. We can make it editable by clicking this button. See that editable, enable editing. By clicking this button, we can make this file editable. Now it becomes enabled. Now we can add objects or we can update objects. We can update this repository file. Now I am adding this window. I want to add this window. Select that window object. Click OK. See here, it displays one dialog box now. This dialog box will be displayed only if you select any parent object in the application. If you select any parent object in the application. What is a parent object means? See, just look at that. If I select here this object fly from, see this is the child object, it is a parent object, correct? If I select this child object, you don't get any dialog box. But if I select this parent object window and if I click OK, this dialog box will be coming. What is this dialog box? Object filter dialog box. Object filter dialog box will be displayed if you select parent object to add. If you want to add parent object into the repository file, then this dialog box will be displayed. So in this dialog box there are four options. If you select this first option, what will happen? Only that parent object will be added into the repository file. Only that parent object alone. Parent object means that object contains some child objects inside that. That's why it is called parent object, right? So if you select this first option, only that parent object alone will be added to the repository file. And if I choose this option, default object types, it will add that parent object plus all default child objects will be added into this repository file. And if I choose this option, it will add the parent object plus all its child objects also will be added automatically into this repository file. And if I choose this option, then you can select what type of which child objects you want to add automatically into this repository file by clicking this select button. Then you can choose here. Suppose I want to unselect all, clear all. Then I want to select, I want to add only buttons. I want to add all buttons from the dialog from that parent object into the repository file. Then you should select here button. Suppose if you want to add all text boxes also from that parent object, then you should select here edit box. So like that you can select what type of child objects you want to add. And all those child objects automatically will be added into that repository file. Understand now? What is this object filter dialog box? This object filter dialog box will be displayed when you select a parent object to add into the repository file. What are these four options are available in the object filter dialog box? The first option, if you select this option, it will add only the parent object. It won't add any child objects of that parent window. And if I select this option, it will add all default child objects plus parent window. And if I select this object option, it will add all its child objects into the repository file. And if you select this option, you can choose which child objects you want to add into the repository file from that parent object. All of you clear this four options? Now I am choosing this option. I want to add only parent window. I don't want to add any child objects from that parent object. So click OK. See, only window is added now. Understand? All of you clear? Any doubts in that? Just a minute, ma. Yeah, okay, guys. So here I have added, yeah, we have added here that window object into this repository file. I saved it and close that. No, don't close it. We have to drag and drop that object. Open that repository file and edit that. Now drag and drop this here, Windows object. So I want to verify that exist of again 10 seconds. I want to wait for 10 seconds. I want to check here whether flight simulation window is opened or not. So I'm adding that exist statement inside if condition. Same like a dialog object what we have done. Then again write again same kind of report statements we have to report here for pass and fail status. So for pass status, right here, reporter dot report event and MIC pass verify flight duration window is displayed, and actual result is flight reservation window is displayed. That is actual result. Now copy that, and in else part is not displayed is the actual result with the status fail. FAIL fail. Save it. So like this we can automate this simple validation. What is that simple validation? Object or any object is displayed or not. How you can check that? By using exist method. We can do that. Okay. Now let us run this script. Now here in this script, now we are running two verifications. It is one verification and it is another verification. For these two verifications, we are reporting pass and fail. This is the fast verification for this, and it is a fail status. And similarly, for the second verification, we are reporting both pass and fail status. Both we are reporting. For every verification, we should have to report pass or fail status. It is very important in the result file by using reporter.report event statement. Now let us run this script one time, then see that. Now see that here it should display two validations. It is a first validation, login dialog is displayed, and the second validation, flight distribution window is displayed. So both validations are displayed. Messages are displayed with the pass status. It is one pass status and it is one pass status. Suppose if any one verification is failed in these two, then script will be failed only. See that, let us example. Suppose if I make a second script is failed. Suppose if I give here waiting time is 1 second. Only 1 second I want to wait for this flight distribution window, not 10 seconds. Now let us see that whether it will be pass or fail. Look at that, it is failed. Why it is failed now? The first validation is passed, but the second validation is failed. Why it is failed? Any idea? Can you tell me why it is getting failed now? When I reduce this waiting time to 1 second from 10.
Yeah, before launching the flight reservation application itself, it has run the code.
Yes, exactly. That means, see here we are giving 1 second. What is 1 second? That means a QTP will wait for this flight distribution window to display maximum 1 second, not more than 1 second. That means that flight distribution window should be displayed within 1 second. If it is not displayed within 1 second, then this exist method returns false. That's what happening. But after clicking login button, OK button in the login dialog box, application will take some 5 seconds to open, to launch the window, to launch the flight distribution window. But we have given here only 1 second. That is a problem. But if I give here 10 seconds, then it will run successfully and it will be passed. See, now it should be passed. Are you clear? So this is the first validation. Okay. And now come to the second validation. Verify text box values. How to automate, how you can verify. For example, very simple. I want to write one more test case. I want to automate one more test case. After launching the login dialog box, I want to verify the initial state of all 5 fields in this login dialog box. That means login dialog box initial state I want to verify. That means when we launch that login dialog box, the agent name text box should be enabled and should be empty. and password field should be enabled and should be empty, and OK button, cancel button, help button, these three buttons should be enabled. These are the validations we have to check in this test case. So in this test case, we have 5 validations. Let us automate this test case. See, I'm going to save as this script. I'm going to save this script, save as my second test case, this one, under 002. What is this test case description? Verify initial state, login dialog, login initial state. I want to verify login dialog box initial state. Save it. Rename this. It is a 002 login underscore initial state, and today's date 8. Okay, so I have updated a description for this new test case. Now in this new test case, what we should have to do? First step, invoke the application, fine, and then verify login dialog box is displayed, correct. After that, what we have to do here? We no need to enter agent name, password, and click OK button. Not these steps. What we have to do here? Verify agent name text box, password text box are enabled. And another validation, I want to verify, I want to automate agent name, password text box are empty. Values are empty by default. And the next one, I want to verify OK, cancel, and help buttons are enabled. So these are the validations I want to automate. I want to check. Are you clear? So to automate this, first one, agent name text box and password text box. So copy this agent name object here, and then copy password object also. Then I have copied this too. Okay. And now what we have to verify here? I want to verify whether these text boxes are enabled or not. How you can check that? Whether this text box, agent name text box is enabled or disabled. How you can verify in QTP? Very simple. Everything by using that object's properties. Anything we can verify by using object's properties. So we have to find what is a property to verify whether this field text box is enabled or disabled. By using which property we can find out that whether this text box is enabled or disabled. So we have to check that properties list. How we can check the properties list? You can go to object spy. Go to object spy and spy that text box, any text box. Spy that text box. And now look at it here. Which property we can use to verify whether the text box is enabled or disabled? There is a property called enabled. That enable property value is true. What does that means? That means that the object is enabled. Suppose if the text box is disabled, then definitely this property value should be false. Understand? So we can use this property to verify whether that object is enabled or disabled. Understand? See, now let us see how to use that property. So there are two ways to verify. Let me write here some document. See that here. I want to verify text box value or text box enable or disabled. Okay, text box value. I want to verify text box value, for example. If you want to verify text box value, then what is the property? What is the property for that? I want to verify empty value is displayed here in the agent name. Then what is the property we have to verify? Again, go to object spy, then find the property for that value. See, what is the property? Text is there. Look at that text. Text is empty. So that is the property we have to check. To check that whether that value of text box, what property we have to verify? Text property we have to verify. So any validation for any field, how we can verify in QTP? By using that field's properties. That's all. You have to find out which property we can use to verify that particular behavior or attribute of that particular field. By using its properties only we can verify any validation. Only once you identify that property, then it is very easy to write a code to verify that particular field. Now we come to know that here first thing we are checking, is it enabled or disabled? How we can check that? You type here a dot after that field name, after that closing bracket, just you type a dot, then it will display a list of methods. And from this list, we want to verify now enabled property, correct? For this text box, I want to verify enable property. So this is the method we have to use. What is that method? Check property method. Check property method. So what is check property method? This method verifies this object property value. Any property value can be verified by using this check property method. So for this method, you should have to pass three inputs. The first input is property name. Which property you want to verify for this object? What is the property we want to verify? Enabled. So for this property, what is the value you are expecting? What value you are expecting? I am expecting that this text box should be enabled. That means what should be the value of enable? True. Is it right? True means I can give 1. False means 0 should be assigned here. And then the third argument, timeout value. What is the timeout? In case if this text box enable value, enable property is not 1, is not equal to 1, then it is a fail, it is mismatching, correct? Then I want to wait for some time. So give waiting time. It is 10,000 milliseconds. This waiting time should be in milliseconds. Are you clear? See here, this is the statement you have to write. What is the statement? What is this method? Check property method is used to verify any object property value. Single property value we can verify for any object. And for this text box, what property we are checking? Enable property. And for this enable property, what is your expected value? 1. If this enable property value is equal to 1, then this check property statement will report pass status in the result file. Suppose if this object enable property value is not equal to 1 within 10 seconds, then this check property method will report failed status in the result file. That means it will automatically report the status. That's why this check property method is called checkpoint. It is a checkpoint. Checkpoint is a verification statement. It is a verification statement. It will do two operations. What are those two operations? First thing is comparison. It compares object property value with expected value. And if both are same, it will report pass status. In case if both are not same, it will report failed status in the result file. That means this check property statement method will execute two operations. One is a comparison and second one reporting. It compares and reports the status. That's what it will do, both. So you no need to write any more report event statement if you are using check property statement, because this check property itself will report the status automatically into the result file. Understand? See here in this statement, 1 is called expected value. Then from where it will take the actual value? At the time of running this statement, understand, at the time of running this statement, QTP will get the value of enable property from the application for this agent name text box. From this agent name text box, the QTP will get enable property value at the time of running this statement. That is called actual value. That actual value should match with this expected value. If both are matching, then this check property will report pass status. if the actual value in the application and the expected value in the statement are not same within 10 seconds, then it will report failed status in the result file. All of you clear how check property executes this verification? Now similarly write same statement for password as well. Same statement, nothing change. Same method, same property, same expected value and same waiting time. Now similarly we can write same statements for this verification as well. See here what value, what we want to verify here? We want to verify agent name and password text box values. I want to verify. So to verify the value of text box, what is the property we have to verify? Property should be text, not enabled. So modify the property name to text. And what is our expected value? It is empty. So not one. So two empty quotes, two double quotes with empty value. I'm giving this is my expected value. See, two double quotes with empty value I have defined as expected value. That means the password field value should be empty by default. The agent name field text value should be empty by default. Are you clear? Now similarly for this OK button also, let us define same check property statement. This OK button should be enabled. That is what I want to define here. So check property enabled 10,000. Similarly for cancel and help button also we have to define same kind of check property statement. Now drag and drop cancel and help buttons as well. And there is no help button. Let us add that help button. I'm adding help button here. So what's happened? Not added. Yeah, I will explain. Hey, what's happening? Why help button is not adding? Okay, let me reopen that repository file. Oh, sorry, cancel itself, it is defined as help here. It is cancel, not help. Okay. Now add help button. It will add. Yeah, it is added. btn. Modify the object name, save it. Yeah. Now come here. Shiva doubt is why, what is this 10,000 milliseconds? What is 10,000? It is milliseconds, number of seconds that you want to wait. It is waiting time. See, in exist statement, we are defining 10 seconds. What is this wait 10? It is waiting time, timeout, waiting timeout. When QTP will wait for 10 seconds, in case of this dialog box is not displayed, then it will wait for 10 seconds. Similarly, in the check property statement also, we are defining waiting timeout in milliseconds. So 10,000 milliseconds, that means 10 seconds. So when this 10 seconds is a waiting time, that means when QTP will wait for 10 seconds while running the statement, if this agent name text box enable property is not matching with this value, with this expected value, then QTP will wait for 10,000 milliseconds. Suppose if this agent name enable property value in the application, suppose if the agent name is currently disabled in the application, while running the statement, agent name text box is disabled. Then what is the actual value of enable property at runtime? False. That means 0. But what is the value we defined here as expected value? 1. The actual value is 0, but the expected value is 1. So both are not matching, right? Not same. So that means it is mismatching. So QTP will wait for 10,000 milliseconds. Suppose if this agent name text box is enabled in 5 seconds, then agent name text box enable value in the application is 1 and our expected value also 1. Both are same. So in 5 seconds. So immediately this check property statement will report past status and QTP will execute next statement. Understand? Are you clear? Okay. So this 10,000 milliseconds is nothing but it is a waiting timeout. When QTB will wait this time, in case that value is not matching with expected value, in case the actual value, in case the actual property value is not matching with the expected value, then QTB will wait for the time whatever you have defined in this statement. Okay. Now similarly, drag and drop help button. Okay. Now here also I want to define these three buttons are enabled. So I have to use same thing. Check property enabled. That's it. So it is very simple. By using check property statement, we can easily do verifications. What verifications we can do by using check property statements? We can verify object property values. We can verify any object property value by using check property statement. So this is the statement. Now let me run this. See, this validation is not required now, correct? This validation is not required. Understand? Only these are the validations we have to do. Done. Now save the script and run it. Now look at that validations, how it will be executed. All are passed. See that how many validations reports. See, this is our first validation. By using report event statement, we are reporting this. This is second validation. See the text box. Text box enable property. Expected value is 1. It is passed. It is a field we verified here. And again, password field. Enable property is verified. It is also passed. And second one, value. Text value empty. Expected value is empty. Actual value also empty. Password field empty. And button is enabled. Cancel button, help button is enabled. Now let me run with some failed status. I will make something fail. For example, I will make it 0. I am giving my expected value as 0. Or for example, not here. I will give here OK button value. I will give 0. I am expecting initially OK button should be disabled. That is what my requirement. In the login dialog box, OK button should be disabled initially. Only after entering agent name and password values, the OK button should be enabled. That is the functionality. That is what I want to verify. So the initial status of OK button should be disabled. So that's why I defined here expected value as 0 for OK button enable property value. Understand? Now run the script. Now this validation should be failed now. One validation should be failed in the result file. Now look at that. It is waiting on 22nd statement on OK button verification. See that. Why it is waiting? It is enabled in the application, but we are expecting it is disabled. It should be disabled. Just look at that. The OK button verification is failed. See that. Enable has actual value as true. Actual value means the value which is captured at runtime from the application. That is called actual value. And what is the expected value? The value what we defined in the check property statement. That is the expected value. So this is 0. 0 means false, but actual value is true. Expected value is false. Both are not same. That's why QTB was waiting 10 seconds on this verification statement. Understand? And still after 10 seconds, these values are not matching. That's why it is reporting failed status. Understand, guys? Clear? The check property statement. This is really very useful statement and we'll be using very frequently in the real-time projects also to automate many validations. By using this statement, we can automate many validations, many verifications. Any doubt in this statement, check property statement? Okay, let us write a document for this. So what is the property we are using here to verify text box value? We are using using check property method we can verify text box. We can verify any object property value. Okay, property value at runtime. Are you clear? So to verify text box value, what is the property we have to verify? Text property should be verified. Text property should be verified, should be checked. Are you clear? So what is the statement for that? Dot check property. What is the syntax for that? What is the input for that? What is a check property input? It has three inputs. What is the first input? Property name. Property name. And second input, expected value. Expected property value. Are you clear? And third input, milliseconds. Milliseconds. It is waiting time. These are the inputs we have to pass to this check property statement. All of you clear about check property method? Now similarly, yeah. Now let us see that verify drop down list selected value. Drop down list selected value. Suppose if you want to verify what is the value selected in the drop down list, how you can do that? Okay, for that we have to open flight duration application. Let me close this and let me run valid login test case. It will launch the application automatically. Okay, done. And now let us see here. Let us take some validations in this window, in this flight duration window. See here, we have fly from and fly to drop down list box here. See in this window, click on this new order button and enter date of flight value as a future date in DDYY format. DDYY format. Okay, that. Now select here, for example, London value I selected. After selecting London value, we have to check that London is selected or not, is displayed or not here. That is what I want to do, one validation. And one more validation I want to check here. This London should not be displayed in the fly to drop down. Just look at that. The London value should not be selected here. Should not be displayed here. Why it should not be displayed London? We cannot travel London to London in a flight. Correct. So application should not allow the user to book a ticket from London to London. So that's the reason the London, not only London, whatever the value we selected here, suppose if we select a Paris here, the Paris should not be displayed in the fly to drop down. Say Paris should not be listed here. So this is the functionality of this application. Clear? So I want to write a test case for this validation. I want to automate this test case. Are you getting my point? All of you clear? See here, I want to automate here two cases. Example, I'm going to take this example. See for drop down list, what example I want to verify. See here example, I will give you an example here. What is the example we have automated? Verify login dialog text boxes are enabled and empty. That is a test case we have automated. And here, what is that validations we have automated examples? Verify login dialog box and flight reservation window are displayed. Are you clear? These two validations we have automated. Now let us come here. Drop down list select value. How to do that? First example. What is this example I want to take? First verify fly from drop down selected value selected value. And after that, one more example, verify fly from value is not listed in the fly to drop down. In the fly to drop down list. All of you clear? First to check that, select some value in the fly from and make sure that that value is selected. And that same value, whatever we selected in the fly from, should not be listed in fly to drop down list. Let us see. This is one test case. Let us write it is one test case example. So this is one test case. See how to automate this test case. Okay. Now let me. Okay, this is a login action. Is it right? Now I will open new script. Save as. Save as. It is test case 3. I'm giving test case 3. What is it? Fly from value is not listed. Is not listed in fly to. That is what I want to verify here. Fly from value is not listed in fly to. Save it. Fly from value is not listed in fly to. That is the name of the test case that we have saved. That and save it. Now just remove that. Here login is not required. See, login is not at all required. So what I will do, before this action 1, I can call login if required. Before this action 1 or inside this action 1. See here itself, first one, I can log in here. Just what is my first one? Login. Run FR001 valid login test. I want to run this test first. So how we can run this test? We can call that action here, correct? By using call to existing action. Go to insert, call to existing action. Open that FR login, FR valid login. And from this test, select action 1 after the current step. Yes. Now go to that action 1. See, this statement is added. That's it. So here we are calling action 1 from valid login script. So it is nothing but login action we are running. So after running this login action successfully, then I want to run these steps. What steps I want to run here? I want to run now. Click on new order button. That is the first step. Next, enter valid data flight. Are you clear? Next, select fly from. Now verify fly from value. Next, verify fly from value is not listed in fly to list. So these are the steps I want to automate in this test case. All of you clear? Okay, so what we want to automate in this test case. Now it is very simple. Now click new order button. So what we have to do? We have to add all these objects into repository file. Is it right? That is the first step we have to do. So open the repository file. It's better to reopen that repository file. And now add all the objects inside flight distribution window. What objects we need? New order button. It is new order button. See, that button name is captured as a button, so it is not a good name. So rename it btn underscore new order. That is the name of that button. Next one, data flight. Add data flight. rename that. See, this object type is not win edit, it is win object. So I will be giving obj as a prefix. Since it is not a win edit, that means it is not a text box, it is a win object. Date of flight, and remove that blank special character. Now next object, fly from, it is a drop down or combo box, so I will give cmb combo box. Okay, next object, fly to, fly to, it is also combo box, cmb combo. Okay, now save that. These are the objects we need to automate this particular test case. So all the objects we added to repository file. Now what is the next step we have to do? We have to associate this repository with this action. Just let us check that is it already associated or not. Go to where we can see in object repository, we can see with this action 1 flight.tsr is already associated with action 1, so no problem. See, all these objects are already displayed here, combo box, button, new order, data flight, everything. That means that the object repository is already associated with this action 1, so no problem. Okay, now drag and drop objects. What is the first step? New order button. Drag and drop this new order button. And what is the next step? Drag and drop that data flight, data flight. And next step, fly from. Drag and drop that fly from. And next step, and here drag and drop that fly to, fly to. I'm dragging drop, that's it. Now let us say that first step, we have to click new order button, the method is right, nothing to modify here. Next step, enter valid data flight. But what is the method it is selected? Click is selected, so that is not a correct method to enter the value into the object. Click is not a correct method, so delete that and type dot. What is the general method to enter the value into the text boxes? Set is the method. Set method is not available here. Yes, set method is not available. So type is available. Say, look at that here, type. Why set is not available? Because this win object is not a, this object is not a win edit. It is a win object class. That's why set is not available. The set method will be available only for win edit objects. But this object is not a win edit, it is a win object. That's why set method is not available. And instead of set, type is available. See, it types the specified string in the object. So that is the action I want to execute. Same action we want to execute here. So we should select here type method. Then enter keyboard input. What value you want to enter into that? Enter some value 15. That is the value we want to enter in the data flight. So the next come to fly from. Enter fly from value. Select method is right. Only input have to pass. What is the input for that? Item value we have to give. Item value I am giving London. London value I want to select. Okay. And after that, after selecting that value, what I have to do? Verify that London is selected. London is displayed in the fly from drop down. That is what I want to verify. So how to check that? What is the property to verify drop down list value, drop down selected value, so that we can check that what is the value, what is the property for that. Go to object spy and spy this fly from. See that Paris is selected currently, correct? See, Paris is the value selected in the fly from. So let us check here Paris, which property value is Paris here? Yeah, I'm coming Shiva. Yeah, look at that here. What is the selection? See, look at that here, selection or text. These two properties have Paris value. So what is the Paris value? Paris is nothing but selected value, is it right? So I can use either selection or text to verify what value is displayed or selected in this drop down. I need to verify selection property or text property. Is it right? That is one thing. Okay. Yeah. What is Shiva? Your doubt? Date format. Oh, that is simple. That is in this application, the data flight should be entered in this format, MMDDYY format. That is the requirement. If you enter in different format, it will throw error message. If you enter in different formats, suppose if you enter DDMMYY format, or if you enter 4 years, 4 digits year, it won't accept. Application won't accept. It will throw error. That we will see that in the next script. We can also automate data flight validations. Okay, it will throw error automatically if you enter the date value other than MMDDYY format. Okay, so all of you clear? How do we find? See, to verify fly from combo box selected value, what is the property we have to verify? Dot check property selection. What is that property name? Selection, correct? I can use selection property. What should be the value of the selection? It should be London, because London we selected in the previous statement. So London should be displayed in 10,000 milliseconds, and even 10,000 seconds is not required, just 5,000 milliseconds I'm giving. Are you clear? Suppose if this validation is failed, then we no need to run second validation. Is it right? Because the first validation itself it is failed. If this first validation is passed, then I can continue second validation execution. So how do you check that whether this verification is pass or fail? How do you know that? Very simple. This check property statement method returns true value if this verification is passed, and this check property method returns false value if this verification is failed. So the check property method returns true or false. So based on that, we can find out whether this verification is pass or fail, and accordingly we can run the next step. So to this check, if you to get the return value from this method, I want to get the return value of this method, true or false. So what we should do? We should have to enclose that method inputs in the brackets. In brackets. Why we should enclose in the brackets? Because I want to get the return value from this method. I want to get the value from that method. That means this method should return the value, and that value I want to use inside the if condition. I want to use that value inside if condition. So I will be writing this statement inside if condition. If I am putting that entire statement inside if condition, and this statement returns true or false, so accordingly my if condition will become true or false. Then accordingly I want to run this condition. That's it. And if that means if this check property statement returns true value, then if condition will become true automatically. Then I want to run this verification. See, now you can get what is the value. See here, I want to define this variable value in some variable, the fly from value in some variable. So I'm going to define here, use here one variable. Here I'm going to declare one variable, dim yes fly from. So to this variable I will assign here London, fly from equal to London. Are you clear? And use this variable instead of London here. I will be using that variable. What is the value of this variable? London. So London will be selected here. Understand? And here I want to verify what is the expected value. The expected value should be London. So in this London place, I can use variable s fly from. This variable value is London. That is my expected value I want to define. Now I want to check that this fly from London is not listed in this fly to combo box. How you can check that? For that, for this verification, we have to get all the items which are displayed inside this fly to drop down. Then we can verify one by one whether this London is displayed or not inside that items. So first of all, you have to get all the items which are displayed inside this fly to list box. to check that whether London is displayed or not inside that flight to list. Understand? So for that, again we have to check that property, which property we can use to get all the items, or is there any property available with all items values for this drop down. Let me check that. Go to object spy this fly to. See, just let us check this properties. Is there any property with all the items values? See, look at that here. All items. There is a property. All items. Understand? So these all items, let us see that what value this all items returns, property returns. That means what I want to do? I want to get all items property value for this fly to drop down. Get all items value from this fly to drop down at runtime. That means while running the script, I want to get all the items from this fly to list. So for that, we have to use here one new method that is called dot get RO property. Get RO property. It is very important method. Get RO property. Understand? Get RO property. See here, we can't use check property method directly to verify that whether London is not displayed inside this fly to list. I want to verify that validation. To verify this validation, we can't use check property method directly. So what we are doing, first step what I'm doing, I'm getting all the list items from this fly to drop down by using get RO property method. What is this get RO property method is, the get RO property method returns runtime object property value. What is a runtime object? Runtime object means nothing but an actual object in the application at runtime. During the script execution, the actual object in the application is called runtime object. So from that object in the application, I want to get the property value during the script execution. What property value I want to get? All items. Define that property value, all items, and assign this statement to some variable. I'm defining here is items is equal to, declare that variable. It is another variable, comma s items. Now just let us print this items variable value, what value it is getting. Then just print that, and then we'll think the logic how to check that whether London is displayed or not inside that items. I'm printing here s items. All of you clear what I'm doing, how I'm writing the code for this validation? What is this validation? I want to verify fly from value is not listed in the fly to list. To automate this validation, how we are writing the code? We can't use check property method directly to automate this verification. So what we are doing first, I'm getting all the list items from this drop down list box by using get RO property and the property of name all items into this variable and printing that variable value. Now let me run the script. See, it is running from login because we are calling login action first. See that it displayed some items. What items are displayed here? Look at that. Denver, Frankfurt, Los Angeles, Paris. Okay, fine. But here, right, it is very difficult to check that whether London is displayed or not inside this string. Is it right? And also there is no separate character. If there is any separator between Denver, Frankfurt, Los Angeles, there is no separator here between the city names. It is displaying all the city names, whatever is displayed here. See that Denver is the first value, Frankfurt, Los Angeles, and Paris, and next Portland. Okay, all the values are displayed correctly, but there is no separator between these items. So it is very difficult to check that London is displayed or not. Understand? So we have to go some other way. So what I can use here, let us see that there is no other property we can use. Is it right? To check this one, only one property we can use is all items, but it is not it looks like not much useful. So what I can do now, I can try with some other methods. Is there any other method is available to check this validation? Let us see that list of methods which are available here. See, look at that here. Get items count is there and get item is there. These two methods definitely will help us. What is get items method? See that. Okay, what is a get item? Returns the value of item specified by the index number. By using index number, we can get item value in the drop down list by using this method. And by using this get items count method, it returns items count in the combo box. How many items are listed in the combo box? So by using these two methods, we can write a logic to check that whether London is displayed or not inside that items list. Okay, get items count and get item. Let us see that. How I will be using this. Now right here, dot get items count, first method, get items count, and get this into some variable. What is that variable? I count. It is a variable integer value. I is for integer. This statement returns integer value. Understand? So that's why I define one variable with prefix I count. Declare here one more variable, dim I count. Okay. Once I get number of items, what is this I count is nothing but number of items. Is it right? Number of items in this drop down. Now I want to get each item value one by one and check that is it equal to London. Like that I want to check one by one all the list items. If London is not matching with any of these items in the drop down, then we can say that London is not displayed. If London is matching with any one of these items, then we can say that London is displayed in the drop down. So like that we can have to write a code to verify whether London is displayed or not in the combo box items list. So how we can go through all the items in the combo box? First get items count, and then we have to go through all the items one by one. So we should write here some for loop, correct? So for I equal to 0 to I count minus 1. Why we are using 0 to I count minus 1? That combo box items index number begins with 0. Understand? So that's why we are using 0. And I count minus 1 because since we are beginning with a 0, we have to reduce minus 1 from this count. Okay, and now get first item value. First time I equal to 0, then get that first item value, S item is equal to, from this combo box, get first item value. From this combo box I want to get first item. Get item is a method. Get item of I. What is I? Index number, first item index number. So it returns that item value into this variable. So define this, declare this S item. Are you clear? And then this variable value should be verified with London. If this item value is equal to London, then we can stop that execution, and then we can say that London is displayed, and we can say that the verification is failed. Understand? So we have to verify that if strcomp, I'm using string comparison. I want to compare S item value is equal to S fly from this variable value. If these both variables are same, what does that means? Fly from value is displayed in the fly to list. See, equal to 0. This string comparison has 3 inputs. These are the two strings, string 1 and string 2, that we want to compare. And the third argument is comparison mode, either binary mode or text mode. One means text mode, that means it is case insensitive comparison. 0 means it is a binary mode, that means it is case sensitive comparison. That means in these two strings, even letters case should not be same if it is equal to case sensitive comparison. If it is case insensitive comparison, these two variables, there can be difference in the case type. In this string, this can be capital letter, and the same letter here it can be small letter. It won't bother about that. It will ignore the case type comparison. So I don't want to verify case sensitive comparison. I don't want to use case sensitive comparison. That's why I'm using here one for case insensitive comparison. It is a text comparison mode. And this string comparison method returns 0 if these two strings are same. If these two strings are not same, this string comparison method returns 1 or -1. So if the string comparison method value is equal to 0, what does that means? This item value is equal to fly from value. That means London is found in the fly to list. So what we can do? We can immediately say that item is found. So I'm setting one flag here, b item found. One more variable I'm defining is equal to true, and exit for loop. I want to stop that for loop execution. See, this is one more variable I'm defining here, dim, with the initial value. This initial value should be false. I will assign this value to false before the for loop. Why I am setting this false? Before starting the searching for this fly from value, I am setting this variable value as false. When I am setting this variable value to true, if this fly from value is found inside this drop down list, then I am setting this variable value to true, and I am stopping this for loop execution. After that execution of the for loop, then I am checking here if this b item found is true. That means if b item found is true, what does that means? The fly from value is displayed in the fly to list. So I have to report failed status. If this b item found value is equal to false, then this if condition will become false automatically. Then I have to report pass status. Understand? So here I have to write here reporter.report event. It is a pass status. No, it is a fail status. If b item is found equal to true, then it is fail status. What we are verifying? Verify that s fly from is not displayed in fly to list. But here it is displayed. Is it right? It is displayed here. Yes, fly from is displayed. So it is failed. Are you clear? If this variable value equal to false, then automatically the if condition will become false. Then we have to report pass status. If it is false, then it is pass status. I want report. And here is not displayed. That is what we are expecting. And here it is pass. MIC pass. That's it. All of you clear, guys? How we have automated? See, like this. Some validations in real-time projects like this need some thinking, need some logic. We have to think some logic to automate some verifications. Some verifications will be simple, very direct, but some verifications will not be direct. So we have to think, and we have to find some property or some method also, okay, that we can use to verify, to automate that validation. Understand? So like that, sometimes you may have to write multiple lines of code to automate one verification in the real-time projects as well. Yeah, yes, Shiva. Yeah, that's what. It's not like that much simple, this verification. Okay. See, this verification is like not like that much simple. Suppose if you want to verify what value is displayed or what value is selected in the drop down list, that is very simple. See here that we are checking that by using one line. Selection is the property we are using to verify what value is selected in this fly from drop down. But here what we are verifying? Verify that the fly from value London is not listed in the fly to list box. That means we have to verify all the items in the drop down list. Only then we can make sure that whether London is displayed or not. Understand? See here I have a drop down list. This drop down list contains many items. So we have to verify each and every item value. Is it equal to London? Understand? So if this London is not equal to all these items, then we can say that London is not displayed. Okay guys, so this is the logic. And now just write, let me run this script once. Now see that how it is running, and let us see the result of this script verification. See, it is passed. See that it is verifying all the items one by one. You can check it here. See that item. See it is verifying all the items. After checking all the items, then we are confirming that the London is not displayed. Understand? Are you clear? London is not displayed. See, now we can run this script with any value. Now I can change it here Paris. See, I am checking here Paris. Paris. Now run it again with the Paris value. See, now it is checking for Paris. In fly to list, Paris should not be displayed. That verification now it is checking. And see, Paris is not displayed. All of you clear? So just go through this script logic, and you also please practice this once. Then we can go through other verifications in the next session. So now we covered up to here drop down list values verification. Now we verified drop down list values as well in this example. In this example, both are covered. Actually, this example comes here for this. Okay, guys. So any questions? Okay, that's it for today session. If you have any questions, you can raise, or otherwise we can continue next week. And before that, I want all of you please complete the installation and also just practice all our scripts whatever we have created. And I will share this script file to all of you in the text file format. I will share that, and so that you can practice this, or you can refer our videos, and also you please practice the same script what I created in our sessions at least once to understand all the concepts. Okay, any more questions? Chari or Subbarao? Yeah. Okay guys, I will upload this video, and also I will share this documents also right by tonight, and then you can practice that. And Chari, Shiva, I think so I already informed you, right? You have downloaded 12.05